This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
I'm going to take you behind the curtain today. It's been a day of chaos.
We thrive in chaos.
Absolute chaos, starting with having to get my wife to the airport.
Always disaster for any husband or wife to take their spouse to the airport.
Then having to get up here in time to work around Mark Kotsay's crazy schedule. Mark Kotsay's had meetings with everybody today, as you can imagine, when you've lost 14 straight road games. And we were able to catch up with one of my favorite guys in the business. I've been interviewing him going on how many years?
Well, he's been in big league ball. We figured out during the interview, 46 years.
So when was Rex Hudler's last year with the Angels?
Player-wise, not broadcast.
As a player.
Okay, let's take a look.
Because I interviewed Rex Hudler as a player early in my career.
Hudman's last game was he was an Angel in 96. His last year was 98 as a Philly.
So it might have been, my early years, my first one I broke in was KMBR. And on the weekends, I did Giants pre and post with my buddy Larry Krueger. So he would have been a what, 97, 98? A Philly? So he was probably a Philly. And then all the years with the Angels doing this gig, and then the Royals. One of my all-time favorites, the Hudman. If you don't get excited, Rex Hudler's the kind of guy, he is like a different version of Ray Fosse. Ray Fosse every single day showed up ready to go. There was never a negative. Ray Fosse was a man of faith. Ray Fosse was a man of strength. Even though he was tough, he gave a tremendous, once you earned the respect, he gave you nothing but love every single day. He pumped you up every single day. He did it with Ray Fosse did it with the players. Ray Fosse did it with the coaches. Ray Fosse did it with the manager. He did it with the front office. Underlings like us, he really took under his wing. I'm very thankful of just the day-to-day interaction and the talks and the family talks and fatherhood and all the great things about Ray Fosse. Rex Hudler reminds me of that. Their personalities are a little different, but that you come to the ballpark every day, you could be 20 games over 500, you could be 20 games under 500. It was consistent. The message was consistent. The love for the game, the love for people was always greater than the record. That was the one thing that I've always thought was really odd and I didn't like about working in the NFL. Like, there's a lot of, working in the NFL was great. Working for the Oakland Raiders was great. I'm very appreciative of my time. We just saw Will Kiss, the head of their PR, was in Sacramento visiting family, came to see us. The great Will Kiss. Still have a lot of connections with the people I worked with the Raiders. It was one of the best times of my life, traveling the country, traveling the world, going to London with them. But money was great. There's a lot of great things about the NFL. When you lose, the building is death. You'd walk into the building, and the same thing, because early on, I haven't really talked about it on this since we've gone on to 650 KSTE or the A's radio network on in Vegas. But the early days, my NFL was with the Niners. I basically shadowed John Schrader, who a lot of fans in Northern California, if you're a Niner fan, you'll remember, because he was Mr. Niner. and he gave you all the coverage for KMBR and what he did. John Schrader, now we've had him on the program. John Schrader is now a professor at his alma mater, the University of Nebraska. He's doing great. But my early days was with the Niners. So when I first started going into the locker room, it was Steve Young, Jerry Rice. I mean, it was still all the greats. But then after that, still doing Niners, they got bad. So I got the Mike Nolan, I got Mike Singletary. Ever before I did Raiders, I did Niners, right? Did Niners pre and post on KMBR. Death. When you lose in the NFL, it's death. Everybody, like, you'd walk in, like, I would go in every Thursday. I did the Jack Del Rio show on TV, and that became the John Gruden show on television for Silver and Black Productions. Even the lady at the front desk was bitter. Because I'd come walking in, and you know me, I'm a positive guy for the most part. I'm pretty happy-go-lucky, and I'd walk in, and and I remember telling some of the guys, and Vito DiBartolo, who was my boss with the Raiders, he now works for us for the A's, and his staff used to walk in and go, "Hey man, do you guys get paid more money when the team wins?" And their answer was no. And I went, "Well, guess what? You're getting the same money if you're 13-1 or 1-13. So snap out of it." But that was a great thing. So we got I don't even know why I went off on that. That's what I love about baseball is no matter what the record is, A's are 26-44. Royals' offense is terrible. They got really good pitching, but they're 34-35. Rex Hudler's going to be fired up today, just like Ray Fosse was. We got great jobs. It's a great industry. So you show up every day ready to go and have a good time. You can't live and die by once you get paid to live and die by the wins and losses, then I get it. But we don't get paid like that. The players do. The manager does. We'll have the Mark Kotsay show today. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro League Museum, is going to stop by. Obviously, that museum is in Kansas City. It is phenomenal. If you ever go, you have to go. And it's like one of the greatest buys ever. You go there because right next door, you cross the foyer, and right next door is the Jazz Museum. And last time I was there was 2019. It was $15 to do both. I was like, what? Then you got the World War I Museum, which is rated as a top museum in our country. That's also in Kansas City. So it's just not barbecue. It's just not Chiefs and Royals. I'm telling you, it's the city of fountains. They got more fountains everywhere, but it is a great museum town. So busy day today. Bob Kendrick. We're going to have Mark Kotsay. Those are going to be on at what time?
3:30 and 3:45.
See, I've got Kotsay in my head because everything I have to do with Kotsay when
2
they're on
hours
the
ahead.
road is 2 hours ahead. So I keep thinking Central Time, like, well, we on at 5? Because I've been having to do schedules today. Everything there is at 5. It's Alex Gordon.
Oh, nice.
You're not going to believe this. Where did I last see Alex Gordon? By Alex Gordon out of the University of Nebraska.
Yep.
They're Are they retiring? He's going to the Royals?
I think it's the
Hall of
Royals
Fame?
Hall of Fame.
Supposedly Bo Jackson's going to give him the coat and everything. It's a big deal. This is so random. Remember, for my 50th birthday, my best friend Dean took me.
Augusta.
Took me to the Masters. And it was, the lockout. We started late. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this trip? Team started in Philadelphia. I was at Augusta. I'm on the 18th hole. We're walking up, and the 18th hole goes like this. And I'm on the 18th hole, and I look over, and I look at my buddy, and I go, that's Alex Gordon. Nobody. He's there with some people. Nobody knew.
Yeah. His career was I think he just retired like a year or two
World
prior.
Series champion, walking the course, and not a soul knows who the hell he is. I'm like, that's pretty cool. You can walk around and not be. And that guy was
royalty, and no, all pun intended. Royalty in Kansas City.
Just played in 2 World Series, won a World Series.
Top guy. I mean, he was with the franchise his whole career.
Now retired, and he's hanging out at Augusta. I was like, I'll never forget going, dude, that's Alex Gordon. And I'm the only one who recognizes him. And now he's getting honored today.
Yeah.
So big show today. So we got Bob Kendrick, we got Mark Kotsay, and we have the HUD man, Rex Hudler. Are we going to Hudler right now?
Let's go to Hudler.
I love my guy, Rex Hudler. This is one of the great guys in our game. I can just tell you, when we taped Mark Kotsay, and we told Kotsay we were going to have Hudler out, he goes, Hudler's the best. I have one of the best Hudler stories. Everybody has and unbelievable Rex Hudler story. The Wonder Dog, Rex Hudler, from Fresno, by the way. He's from the Valley. Here's the Hud Man. Well, here on A's Cast Live, we have a Mount Rushmore of guests. Of when you know the A's are taking on a certain team, you get fired up because you know you're going to talk to certain guys. And on that Mount, we've been doing this show now for years. On that Mount Rushmore is the great Rex Hudler, the Hud Man. Whenever I see Kansas City on the schedule, I get fired up because I know you're coming on the program, and you're going to get all baseball fans fired up for this series.
Hey, Chris, I told you this before. You can't say my name and anywhere near great. That's what's not my name. I was a marginal player that had a lot of fun, and I consider myself like cow manure. Okay, look, I played for 7 teams in 3 countries, and what do they?
That's on me, Nate, in the studio. I will get this back up in a second. No, it's okay. I got it. That's on me. I closed the browser on my computer and it kicked Rex Hudler out. So just give me 1 second and I will bring it back up. I apologize to everyone who was listening to the Hud Man. And away we go. Now.
And motivated. And then when it was my turn, oh, man, everything got tight. Yeah, I got to tell you. It wasn't easy. It was hard. I tell you what, I've been doing yoga now for a long time. I love that. And I would have really enjoyed the practices of that fruit. You learn breathing, deep breathing. Taking a deep breath and exhaling. Bringing the heart rate down. When I got on the on-deck circle, my heart was pounding out of my chest. I couldn't control it. I got too excited. Now, I could go catch the ball on defense because there was no skill involved with that. That was just natural. But, man, how fun it was being a player. Chris, I'll never forget those days.
You want to talk about a great career? How many years you been in pro ball?
Oh, playing 21 years.
The entirety. I'm talking broadcasting. How many years you been in pro ball?
Oh, man. Okay, 21 seasons playing, and then God bless me right away. I went right from the field to the booth with the Angels. 11 years there. Took a couple of seasons off. My wife goes, "Hey, Hud, you need to work. I know you're like not working, but we're starting to get into your baseball savings." So I said, okay, well, I searched my heart. What do I want to do? I still want to keep broadcasting. Broadcasting and teaching baseball to the people is so fun, Chris. And so, God, He's faithful. He the Royals called me out of nowhere. Now this is my 14th year here. So you can add that up. I can't add. I don't have that many fingers.
It's a lot of years. It's a lot of years.
It's been a lot of fun, but certainly nowhere near the great Ray Fosse. Whenever I see Ray Fosse, whenever
46 years you've been in 46 years in football, and that's not a great career.
No, and I still got hair. I still got hair, although I've had some help. Bosley helped me move some hair from the back to the front.
Hey, whatever you got to do, fake it till you make it. What would have happened if you didn't write that letter to George Steinbrenner to move you up?
Wow, you know what? I'd probably still be an A-ball. 6 years, Chris. 6 years. And here he got me out of that Fighting Irish scholarship. And so when I wrote him, I told him, man, I'd already been graduated from Notre Dame and been in the NFL right now. And I'm 6 years in A-ball. Would you please consider a promotion? How about that? Let's go. And he did. I loved him. Next day, 6 o'clock in the morning, Hud, you're going to AAA. Hey.
But you never know, man. If you get Dan Devine gets you to go to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, you might have been the Heisman Trophy winner. You never know.
No, I wasn't
from Fresno.
I didn't have those kind of skills. But I tell you what, it sure was a lot of fun as a young player, man. I mean, as a young person, having to choose between the Yankees and Notre Dame was really overwhelming. I'm so grateful for that now, looking all the way back.
Oh, my God.
So fun. And baseball, though, Chris, has been unbelievable. What a beautiful occupation it's been. Meeting people, guys like you, man, coming through. The people who work around the stadiums are my best friends. And I don't even want to talk about last year because I missed our series there. Jeremy Guthrie took those games. And I want to say goodbye to the Coliseum in the worst way, but I'm okay with it. I want to cry right now, but I'll hold back my tears.
I mean, you think about two of the most iconic brands in American sports, Notre Dame and the Yankees. That's a pretty good choice for a kid from Fresno.
How about that?
Right?
We tricked him, Chris. It's unbelievable.
Seriously.
There's my guy, Aldo. There's my guy. Hold on, let me yell at Aldo. Doughboy! Hey! Yeah, there's Aldo. Aldo was my roommate. You guys have been blessed to have Aldo, man. I'm so proud of you guys.
When were you guys roommates?
We were with the Angels and then the Expos. We were in the Expos together. I was with 2 teams with Aldo. Yeah. And that was when we had roommates, and then we struck in 94 or 95, was it?
Yeah.
And got everybody single rooms in.
All right, the Kansas City Royals right now, you guys were on a heater, fell off of that, now a game under 500. The Central is so interesting. Obviously, Detroit lights out, but we've seen Minnesota. We're about to see our old buddy Stephen Vogt and the Cleveland Guardians. I mean, you got to still think just a game under 500. There's a long way to go here. What's been happening in Kansas City?
Chris, you know what? We have excellent pitching here. We have championship caliber pitching. Once we get 100% healthy, we lost Reagan's, a little bit of something going on with his rotator cuff in his shoulder. We have really a nice bullpen. Carlos Estevez has been really nice closing games. He's like right up the top with every closer and top closers. Lucas Urseg, your Urseg, we got him last year. What a blessing that kid is. We love him. What he's been through in his life and what he stands for off the field.
Great story.
Yes, he's wonderful. And he's done nothing but great things for us. So we have the back end of a pin. We have good starting pitching. And this year, for whatever reason, we just can't knock runs in. We led baseball with runners in scoring position last year, Chris. 280, 287 we hit. This year, we're at like 210. We can't knock runs in, and it's really bad. It's been a virus they've had most of the season. The pitching has carried us this way. We were like 8 or 9 over 500, and then the ship just started sinking. We couldn't knock runs in. We couldn't support our pitching staff. So that's been the main problem. Defense is really good. We have gold all over. I mean, Garcia's our third baseman, and you got Bobby Baseball at short. So they got 2 shortstops on the left side of the infield. That's nice. They suck up every ball. They got good range. India's playing some second base. Michael Massey's been hurt. Pasquantino's got 5 outs above average.
Pasquatch.
The Pasquatch is becoming a potential Gold Glove caliber first baseman. We didn't think we'd see that. And, so the fan base was clamoring for Jack Caglione. Bring him up. Jack's going to be a savior. He's a young kid. You can't one young kid. He can't carry the team. He's gotten a few hits. He hasn't hit a home run yet. But dude, that's not the answer.
How does he look?
Oh man, I'd love to have this guy's face, his body. Oh man, he's a stud. Big, strong kid. Oh, it would be so fun. And he runs pretty well. He's a good athlete. They're playing him in some right field, a little bit of first base, but Pasquatch is playing over there at first. He looks good. He's going to hit. He's been hitting some hard balls. He don't look overmatched at all. He just hadn't had a lot of fortune with hits, and like a lot of us didn't have. So he's learning what it's like to hit big league pitching for the first time. It's not easy. But you know what, though? I think we have a chance to at least get back in this race in the Central. The Central's got a bunch of good teams in it this year. Yeah. Detroit is really phenomenal. They're for real. They're amazing. But right now, I mean, the Yankees humbled us big time. Okay, they beat us 6 straight games this year in 2 series, and we just gotta find a way to get a big hit. We do okay, but we have a couple of guys from AAA that are playing in our lineup. We're 2 bats shy of what we really need, a championship.
We've got young guys coming faster than ever. You're going to see Nick Kurtz, who not long ago was in college taking classes at Wake Forest. Obviously, Jacob Wilson's hit 400 and got himself here, and he's having a phenomenal year. And you're looking at the 2 best young shortstops. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I just wanted your opinion as a guy who was in the minors way too long. Now the old school people think guys are being rushed to the big leagues. They're not ready. What are you seeing, and what's your opinion on these guys who don't spend a lot of time in the minors and people think they're rushed to the majors?
Well, you know what? a lot of the young players today, Chris, they specialize in baseball when they're in junior high school. Okay, they don't play all the sports. Most of them don't. They specialize. So when they're here so young, that's because they're talented. They're really talented. But when you don't learn how to play the game, and just the intricacies of the game, some of the things that go on, how to carry yourself, how to move runners, how to do little things in baseball, those things you don't learn. So when I got to the big leagues, I was schooled in the game. I already knew. I had put all my time in down there, 10 years of the minors. And when I got to the big leagues, I was a guy that understood everything, and my managers appreciated that. So that's what they're missing. They're missing, the experience and the coaching. You need old school guys down in the minors now. You need old school guys to start teaching the game. How to stand up for your players. We had a guy the other day come in spike high, on one of our players, and we didn't retaliate or nothing. And I was like, wow, how do you hold your character in the game when you don't protect your players? I mean, little things that they don't know. I mean, of course, we're not asking for any fights or anything like that, but that is non-existent. The players, most of the players all love each other. And if they knock somebody down, oh my gosh, excuse me, let me help you up and let me give you a kiss on the cheek. I mean, the game is just a little bit different now. So, Chris, it's hard for
it's really different.
Yeah, hard ball player like me. But look, I can't sit there in my old age and go, wow, boy, the game sure is different now. And you can't do that. You got to embrace the game and do the best you can to share it with others and to teach the game to what they're trying to do. And so that's kind of the lane I stay in. But when I'm on with guys like you, baseball guys that know the game, it's easy to share because, gosh, it's just not the game we used to know.
Well, I can tell you, yesterday we had a day off, and I was playing golf with a bunch of my old college teammates, and we were playing against some young kids, and these guys talked about bat flip, and I'm like, man, you didn't bat flip back. You bat flip back in the day you got hit in the head or you got hit high. Yeah, it was upper back, bat flip didn't exist in our era.
I know, but I understand that now, see, because now it's a different game, but it's okay. If they're not going to retaliate, then go ahead. It's entertainment. Let the people, if the people like it, the paying customer, hey, look, let them do it. No one's going to hit anybody. No one will retaliate. That's just getting used to the modern game, and that's kind of how it is. And I'm almost to the point where I've been broadcasting for over 20 years. That's kind of the norm now. So I don't spend a lot of time beating that down. I do. We'll look at my partner once in a while and raise my eyebrows.
What would have happened? What would have happened if you hit a home run, you bat flipped it, and then pimped it 20-something seconds around the bases? What would have happened?
Chris, the other thing is the baseball used to police the game in our day, okay? But this ball, it would police the game. It nobody came in spike high because they knew what would happen, okay? But the money got so big in the game that the owners were like, hey, you just retaliated against one of my guys and broke his wrist, and I'm paying him $20 million a year. We need to stop this. So that's what happened. Money changes everything. Yep. It changed the game. Umpires started policing. You can't retaliate. You can't let the ball police the game anymore. And that's changed a lot of the way the game is played, really. That's why you're seeing a lot of this stuff going on. And then that's just part of the change. And the pitch clock is amazing. That's a wonderful thing. That's the best thing they've done to the game. And, the other things that we're learning, the rule changes have all been pretty good. But I can't wait till they go to the helmet tap. That takes nothing away. I remember going to spring training this year, Chris, and the helmet tap, to replay the call, the strike, takes no time away from the game.
Fans love it.
Fans were into it.
They love it.
Man, I so much wanted to text the commissioner and say, commissioner, come on, man, go ahead and just make it happen now. Or how about after the All-Star break, we bring it in then, because I think the people, it's a strategy that the game is good with, and it's a lot of fun. But Chris, I love sharing with the people. Your fan base there is amazing. I love them. It's so good to be there in San Francisco, Oakland, that whole Bay Area, man. It's part of my blood. I love it. Well, Candlestick. Hey, we go by Candlestick when we get on the airport, Chris, and we go on into San Francisco. Man, I always yell on the bus, no matter what time it is. Give it up for the stick.
You grew up going there, right?
I'm telling you, that was my first big league ball game. But anyway, I love sharing the game with the people, man. I can't help it. What is keeping us spreading the gospel? And we try to clean it up a little bit where we can, but we still have to embrace the game, Chris.
No, let's end on this. You're really going to enjoy Jacob Wilson. Obviously, his dad, he grew up in the game, so he gets it. We had a weekend where all these different numbers are coming up, and we started bringing up Tony Gwynn, Don Mattingly, next thing you know, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, old Philadelphia A's. What this kid is doing, average and hits and contact, he's bringing up these names. Ichiro, you start bringing up all these names and the things that he's doing. I can't wait for you to see him, Hud, because this kid is special. He is old school, and all he does, he gets in the box. He's not looking to walk. He's looking to hit from the moment he comes out on deck. He's looking to hit.
So good. I'm interested in your center fielder. I heard he's quite an athlete.
Oh my God, the catches are. His mom was a track star, Canadian Olympic team, competed in the 84 Olympics in LA. His dad did track. His cousins are the Naylor brothers, but he reminds me of Randy Moss. He's 6'4", he's 220. He jumps like he's got track skills playing center field. Hud, I never seen anything like
Where did they get him?
He's Canadian, and he went to Cal State Northridge in Southern California. Ed Sprague, who you know, two-time World Series champion with the Blue Jays, who's now running our system. We had him on the show. I said, give me an athletic comp. He said, Bo Jackson.
That powerful?
He doesn't have the power of Bo, but the ability to run and jump and do everything.
Oh, okay.
The offense isn't there, but the defense is, Hud, it's all world. You've never, like, we saw Gary Pettis was great. Devon White was great. We've seen these great Gary Maddox. We've seen some great athletes, but this kid, I'm telling you, he's 6'4". We couldn't find a comp size-wise because he's so heavy and so tall. That's what I'm saying. He's like he can run, he can jump, he looks like a track star.
Man, I love that. So I'm looking forward to a real nice 3-game series here, Chris. No doubt.
It's always great to talk to you. We always appreciate the time. And you're from the Valley. We can't wait to see you at the end of the year in Sacramento.
It's going to be awesome. So last week of the season, hopefully our teams are heading for postseason at that time of the season. That's all we can think about, Chris. We can't throw the towel in now.
No.
Why?
We got a lot of time.
We got 90-something games to go, man. Are you kidding? If I was on a team and one of my teammates wanted to throw the towel in, I heard any negative talk like that, me and him would have to have a little visit.
Hud, you are the very best. You're so gracious with your time. I've always loved it from way back in the days when I used to have you on as a player to where we are now.
Wow, that's amazing. Chris, yeah. Hey, look, anytime. I look forward to seeing you. Have a great rest of the summer, buddy.
Take care, buddy. See ya. Great Rex Hudler right here on A's Cast Live. Love me some Hud, man. He is such a great dude. Been in the game for a long time. It's always special to have him on the program. And, reality is this is game 71 for the Athletics. And at 26-44, we can sit here all we want and keep saying that they still got a chance. There's a lot of games. But, when you've lost, 14 straight road games, you've been outscored by 71. I mean, at some point, reality has got to set in. Now, for the Royals at 34-35, yeah, I get it. They've lost 3 in a row. They're last place in a lot of categories in offense, but that can turn around. The one thing they have that the A's don't have that gives them hope is pitching. They've got a ton of pitching. The A's don't. A's are still pretty good in offense, just the pitching has been brutal. Coming up next, we head back to Kansas City. Bob Kendrick, he's the president of the Negro League Museum. He's joining us once again right here on A's Cast Live.
A's center fielder Denzel Clark joined Towny on A's Cast Live to share the moment he realized he made it to the big leagues.
I think there was a couple of them. Obviously, I think the first time you get any type of action in the game, it's just like, okay, I've made it here, I think. First game, Trey Turner's up at the plate, and he hits a ball over my head, and it's just like, okay, I'm running for a ball in a big league game officially now. Like this is pretty dope. Because I was born playing at Minute Maid. Past couple of days, that was really special as well. Just centers, looking up, seeing 3 decks up there. I mean, it was very special. Now, third part of it is coming back home to a place I've been fortunate enough to play at. And just see a lot of games at. It's a blessing.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast. Calling all kids ages 4 to 15. Join the A's and the Rivercats for our free, family-friendly play ball weekend event in West Sacramento. Saturday, June 14th, from 10 a.m. to noon at the Alice Norman Bright Playfields. Enjoy baseball and softball skill stations, games, giveaways, face painting, and more. Your favorite mascots, Stomper and Dinger, will be there. Space is limited, so register today at athletics.com/playball. That's athletics.com/playball. A's catcher Willie McIver joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live in West Sacramento to reflect on the emotions he experienced during his major league debut.
All the work that came before it, it was just kind of one of those moments that everything comes together for you. The fact that my parents and all the people that have been my backbone through my whole career, from 8 years old on, to be here and to enjoy that moment with them, for me, was what made it all that much better. Geez, I throw the guy out, and then 30 seconds later, I can go hug my dad, my brother, my mom in the stands, my high school coaches. I mean, come on, man. That's like, it's a dream come true. It gives me goosebumps just talking about it now. So to be able to enjoy that moment on the field with them after a Gatorade shower, man, it makes everything we've done, it makes it all worth it.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Here's the pitch, and it's a hit. Folsom Lake Ford has stepped up again, winning the Triple Crown Award, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, now 7 years in a row. Folsom Lake Ford is a top sales leader in the U.S., along with being top in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Now that's a home run. Don't miss the huge savings on your favorite models at your truck headquarters. Folsom Lake.
A's Cast Live continues from NBC Sports. Here's Chris Townsend.
Sad news about Gunnar Hoglund. Gunnar Hoglund is out for the rest of the season. He underwent surgery to repair his right hip. And it's a labral repair and cartilage debridement. Oh, wait, it gets better than that. To address the femoacetabular impingement. And I know, playing a doctor here on A's Cast, I am not pronouncing that correctly. Whatever it is, he got his hip repaired, and he'll be back for spring training. That's sad because obviously what he had been through with Tommy John surgery, and to make it back and to finally get his chance in the big leagues and then have a hip problem is tough. Do we have Bob? It's always great to have Bob back on here on A's Cast Live. How are you? How's the museum, and how is everything in Kansas City?
Well, we're hanging in there. Everything's good. I had Dallas Braden by the museum yesterday, and it was great to see him. And he brought some other folks from the ball club over to walk through the museum with me, or in this case for me, hop through the museum because I just had knee surgery not too long ago, so I was on crutches. So I'm kicking. I heard your medical report, and I didn't understand what you were saying, but I could kind of relate nevertheless.
So you're on the IL too.
I am on the IL, although I've been kind of in the game. I've been making my way over to the museum 2-3 times a week. Certainly been meeting teams when they come into Kansas City, which that never gets old for me. I always look forward when the visiting teams come by and they bring folks over to the museum.
Yeah, I always talk about Kansas City as one of my favorite towns, going there all these years, and the Negro League Museum, which people need to know right next door is the Jazz Museum, was incredible because everybody just talks about barbecue and you go, no, this is one of the best museum towns. The World War I Museum is rated as one of the top museums in our country. So city of fountains and barbecue, but it's also the city of museums. And just how great is it that each time that you bring these teams in and these players and these broadcasters, I'm sure front office people, that they're seeing and learning about the history of baseball, the Negro Leagues for the first time. You get to keep educating people.
Yeah, no, and that's why it never gets old for me to share the stories that many of them have not heard before. I've probably told them a gazillion times, but every time I tell the story, I want it to be as if I'm telling it for the first time, but to see their reaction to the museum. And as you know, no sport holds to its history the way baseball does. It is the one sport where we consistently compare the stars of the past with the stars of today. And as I oftentimes say, whoever your favorite baseball player was when you were a kid, it's going to be your favorite baseball player for the rest of your life. Yeah. So for me, it was Henry Aaron. And in my mind, there'll never be a ball player better than Henry Aaron. And Chris, if they are better than Henry Aaron, I'd never admit it. You know, that's the beauty of baseball. And passing this history down is really important. And the guys always enjoy it. And the word is starting to circulate around amongst the players. They're telling folks that when you come to Kansas City, you need to go call Bob and go by and visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, man. And I absolutely love it.
There are few people in the history of my career that when I was going to interview them that I was like super nervous. And it was years ago, going to play the Atlanta Braves. And Mr. Aaron came on my pregame show. And you're just like, here is a guy at that time had hit the most home runs, had the most RBIs, and he was third in hits. That's the other. He's got 37-something hits. I mean, when people say who's the greatest player of all time, everybody's got their favorite player, but I just go, wait, we're a game about numbers, right? Has anybody seen this guy's numbers? I mean, you want to go the runs scored, you want to go the RBIs. He was great on defense. He had a good. How could you be better? If we're going by numbers, how could you be better than Henry Aaron?
Well, and that's what I always say in a game of numbers. No one's numbers are better than Henry Aaron.
Nobody.
Because you're right. You could take all 755 home runs away from him. He'd still have over 3,000 hits. His total base record, Chris, will never be broken.
No.
I'm going to go out on a limb. It will never be broken. Albert Pujols, I thought, had the best chance to catch his RBI total. I'm not sure if anybody will play long enough to get that. And to think that it all began in the Negro Leagues, 1952. As a skinny, cross-handed hitting shortstop. So for those who may be hearing that term for the first time, Mr. Aaron was a right-hand hitter who was hitting with his left hand on top. And of course, that's unorthodox. The fear is that you break your wrist hitting in that manner. Well, Henry Aaron was knocking the cover off the baseball in a highly unorthodox fashion. He gets to the Indianapolis Clowns in 1952. They put the right hand on top, and the rest, as they say, is history. He was shortly after discovered by the Boston Braves, who would become the Milwaukee Braves, who, of course, would become the Atlanta Braves. But it all began in the Negro Leagues, 1952, with the Indianapolis Clowns.
Ray Fosse said in the All-Star game, he could just hear how fast, catching Henry Aaron's bat would whip through the strike. He could hear it, and he hit off the front foot with those great wrists. Oh, I mean, we could go on and on. The same thing with Willie Mays. We're in San Francisco right now. Willie Mays, what he meant to the Bay Area, and also coming up through the Negro Leagues. It's something so special. And I'll tell everybody, bring your wallet, because when you go through the museum and you finally end up on that field with all the statues, right out of that, you come into merch. You come right to all the merch.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be ready to buy a lot of different hats, a lot of different shirts. Just bring your wallet, because the merch you have there is phenomenal. And the colors of the hats, and it's phenomenal.
It really is. And I guess, Chris, you can say we took on the Disney philosophy. So we get you immersed in that environment, and then we have you exit through our gift shop and make it as difficult for you to not buy something as possible. But, I've always marveled at the splendor of the Negro Leagues uniforms, the caps, the jerseys. It matched the style of play, which was bold and fast and aggressive. These are beautiful pieces. Major League Baseball back then wore either white, off-white, or gray. The Negro Leagues added a level of brilliance in their color schemes in those uniforms. And I think that's why it's resonated so much with baseball fans. And of course, baseball fans are probably the most nostalgic of any sport fan. And so when you start hearing these names, the Kansas City Monarchs, the Homestead Grays, the Pittsburgh Crawfords, the Atlanta Black Crackers, the New York Black Yankees, these names start to resonate, and people want to have some gear that represents the fact that they've been there to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And it's so important. It's an important part of our operations. And so we're building a brand new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. We've launched a capital effort to build a brand new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. The current museum is 10,000 square foot facility, but the new museum will be over 30,000 square feet. Wow. And just this week, former Oakland Athletic Reggie Jackson, we announced his partnership in a hotel that will be built into the new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And Reggie's dad, Chris Martinez, played in the Negro Leagues for the Newark Eagles. So this is a legacy moment. I'm excited about this new Negro Leagues campus that we're building at historic 18th Vine. Now, I say that I'm as excited as you could possibly be about having to raise $35 million.
Not easy. Not
No,
easy.
it won't be easy.
Yeah, we saw that Reggie was actually, he was there. Was it like 2 days ago? He was just there?
Yeah, he was there on Wednesday at the museum, and it was great to have him back at the museum. And this is such a legacy kind of project for him, given the fact that his roots are tied directly to the Negro Leagues. Of course, he began his career in Kansas City when it was then the Kansas City A's. And before Charlie Finley moved the club out to Oakland. And of course, as some of your audience might remember or maybe heard, the legendary Leroy Satchel Paige pitched for the Kansas City A's in 1965 when he was believed to be 59 years old. If you think he was born in 1906, which I absolutely do not believe, he might have been closer to 69 than 59, and he pitches 3 shutout innings against the Boston Red Sox. Great trivia question. 1965 Boston Red Sox. Who got that lone hit off of Satchel? Hall of Famer, but it's not Ted Williams, a young Carl Yastrzemski.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a double against the old man. Satchel left him at third and shut down everybody else over 3 of the most remarkably pitched innings in baseball history. It didn't get the credence that it deserved because, love him or hate him, Charlie Finley was one of the greatest baseball promoters of all time. Satchel Paige was one of the greatest self-promoters of all time. And so it made for a perfect marriage. And not too long ago, I did an interview with my good friend Rico Petrocelli. And Petro was on that 65 Red Sox team. And Chris, he told me this. He said, Bob, we all went to the plate hacking away at that old man. They thought it was going to be like BP. It's going to be like batting practice. And he says at that time, Satchel's fastball was still 86, 87 miles per hour, and he's painting the black, and they turning back, going to the dugout in disbelief that they couldn't hit that old man.
We needed to bottle up his DNA. I mean, the fact that we don't know exactly how old he was, but he was able to get big league hitters out, if we're talking in his 60s, that's insane. And still have, as you said, he still had some velocity.
He still has some velocity.
For a guy in his 60s. Forget 50s, even in his 60s. Well, I want to get some key stuff in here. Let's promote the podcast. Let's do the podcast, and let's talk about how we can help raise some money for you.
Yeah, no, the podcast is Black Diamonds. I do it with Sirius XM Radio. We've had 5 amazing seasons of this podcast. We're gearing up for season 6 now. You can find past episodes anywhere that you download your podcast. You know, we've been so blessed. It's an award-winning podcast. Sirius has given me a tremendous platform to tell stories about the history of the Negro Leagues, and it has built a new legion of audiences that are now learning and falling in love with the Negro Leagues. The same could be said for the Negro Leagues in the video game MLB The Show, which has been literally a game changer for the museum when we got the Negro Leagues into that video game. Millions of young people and young adults learning about the Negro Leagues, falling in love with the Negro Leagues every day at the museum. Kids are coming in and they want to show me how Satchel did his double pump wind up, how he did his leg kick, and they want to throw the B-ball like Satchel threw the B-ball, and it just makes me feel, it fills my heart with joy because we're educating them, they're engaging, and they're retaining it, and they're loving it. And so all these things are so exciting, and like you said, you know, the next thing for us is to build a new Negro Leagues Baseball Museum 3 times the size of our current home because we've got more stories to be told, and we want to expand on the existing stories that we all have already shared, but we've tapped out of space. And so it's time for us to grow.
And that's a great thing, right? And by the way, how do you get to young people? You got to get to them on phones, and you got to get to them on video games. And that's exactly what it was. It was brilliant. And now the success of that and teaching all the kids, and also Sirius XM, the baseball channel, Channel 89, promotes your podcast constantly. Yes. It's great. How can my listeners help you achieve this goal to have a bigger museum?
Well, and you know, I know sometimes people think, well, they're only looking for big donations. Well, we are looking for big donations. But in this instance, every buck counts. And so you can, if you're so inclined and you want to support the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in this effort to build a new museum, please visit nlbm.com and tap on the Pitch for the Future campaign. And you can make a contribution there. No contribution is too small. As I said, in the memory of my dear friend Buck O'Neill, every buck counts.
And it's one of the greatest deals. Last time I was there was 2019 when I was working for the Raiders, and we were there playing the Chiefs, and I went over. I wish I knew you then, but so I went over, and I remember I think they were, oh, yeah, you can go over to the Jazz Museum. It was like $15. And I went, you know, I'm not huge into jazz, but of course I'm going to go. No. And you walk in, and there's Ella Fitzgerald's gown, and there's all the trumpets. I'm like, wow, this is one of the greatest deals of all time. Hey, I'm so happy for you and what you guys have done. It's truly the museum you go in, and I always tell the story about being in there, and I'm hearing it was like the first part of the museum, but I could hear Vida Blue and I could hear Marty Lurie. Right. Yes. And then because, you know, I've interviewed Vida Blue. I've known Vida Blue forever. God rest his soul. I think we did his last interview. And then Marty Lurie is a good friend of this program also. And I'm like, I'm hearing Marty Lurie and Vida Blue. And then all of a sudden you go in and you see the video that they narrate. And I remember, and both of them were so proud of being a part of it. I talked to Vida about it and also Marty. There's just so much history. It's a must go to. So yes, barbecue is unbelievable, but you got to go to the museums, especially your museum, second to none. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll be in touch, and let us know how we can help in any way.
I definitely will, man. It's so great to catch up with you, and thank you for the opportunity to be on the show.
And good luck with the knee.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, I can't wait to get both legs back. So I haven't been able to play any golf. And so I am fiending to get back on the golf course. So I'm looking forward to getting this knee back together.
Be well, my friend. We'll be in touch.
Okay, Chris. Thank you, man.
Bob Kendrick, who was the president of the Negro League Museum. It is. You realize like how big the Negro Leagues were back in the day and how competitive and the history of it. And then you walk across and it's the greatest jazz. It's the facility. I get, they're growing out of it. And then I can't say enough about the World War I Museum because in school, we were taught more about World War II than we were World War I. And World War I was that museum you need like days to go through. It's crazy. Time now for the Mark Kotsay Show. You ready, Commander? By the way, Bob is great. Bob is unbelievable, and what he has done.
Anytime we play the Royals or anytime we can have him on, I love having him on.
In fact, Reggie Jackson was there, the Hall of Famer, former MVP, 3-time World Series champion with the Athletics. He was there 2 days ago, and Reggie's a part of it. As they always said, the straw that stirs the drink. That's greatness, and I'm glad that he is a part of it. Time now, every single Friday he joins us. Time now for the Mark Kotsay Show. For the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford. Skip, you're in Kansas City for a couple days against the Royals. How are you?
I'm doing okay. As you can see in the background, I've got Tommy Lasorda pointing at me and Joe Torre.
Hall of Famer.
couple pretty good skippers behind me, yeah.
It's going to be a really interesting series. And one of the interesting notes, and hopefully Jacob Wilson's hamstring is good, is, two of the best young shortstops in the game doing battle the next 3 days. Should be a good one to watch. The game inside the game.
Yeah, there's no question that Bobby Witt Jr. is pretty exceptional, but we've got a pretty good one ourselves here that's, showing his talents in Jacob Wilson. So, as you mentioned, two guys in the American League, both leading different categories and playing to their capabilities. It's fun to watch.
When you think about whether it's going to be defending someone like Bobby Witt Jr. or on the other side, they got to do Jacob Wilson. It's not often that you have a series with highly offensive shortstops. Bobby Witt can beat you with power. He can beat you with speed. So what is that like when you have to game plan against a real offensive shortstop?
It's never easy, right? Yeah. Game planning against any offensive minded player is always a challenge. And, for Bobby Witt Jr., he presents several different challenges. Like you said, he can hit for power. When he gets on bases, he flies. He's got, elite speed. So it's always a challenge when you have talent like that on the other side.
What has surprised you the most about Jacob Wilson and his start?
Well, I think the durability and obviously, over the last couple of days, we've had to give him, a 2 days off and including yesterday, it'd be 3 with the hamstring. Jacob's coming into this season, really his first full professional season. The rigor and the grind you can see have started to catch up with him a little bit. And we knew that we were aware of the durability and the amount of stress that you endure in a big league season. We're seeing that from a lot of these guys that come from the minor leagues that maybe don't necessarily get, a full, 2-3 years of experiencing, the travel and the late nights and the early mornings and the day games and the lack of days off. But in the minor leagues, they created a schedule that was more conducive to building and rest for those players. And at the major league level, there's no schedule built like that. There's no, hey, every Monday you get off, So yeah, that's been a challenge.
Speaking of challenges, just how tough has it been dealing with all the injuries? Because you got injuries on the pitching staff, you got injuries with the lineup, you got them all over the place.
Yeah, we really do. It hit kind of hard in May. We're still trying, and even in the beginning of June, losing Lang. Is obviously a big loss in the middle of our lineup, and he's the backbone, right? He's the backbone of these guys. And so we've, we went out and acquired a veteran guy in Austin Wins, who's been great. He's amazing. The first day in the pitchers catchers meeting, he brings in a notebook that's thick, full of notes. He's been with several different organizations and clubs, and he gets it. He understands the preparation. He understands the need to really, be the guy to help lead this pitching staff. And MacGyver's been great since he's been up. But it's an area that, you feel, where Shea was a big impact player. So both offensively and defensively. And in terms of the arms, yeah, we were hopeful to maybe get JT Ginn back. He just had a rehab assignment. We still got some bullpen arms, Jose Leclerc, being out as long as he's been out. He's continuing his rehab program, but those are big losses for us.
We have seen cuts of you in the dugout after Denzel Clark makes these catches. Obviously, you played your entire life in center field. I don't know who to compare him to at 6'4", 220. I actually brought up on this show Randy Moss. He reminds me of Randy Moss, his athletic ability. I say, you remember when Randy Moss would put his hand up and it was like, throw me the ball, I'm going for the touchdown. He's a track star in baseball. He's got track star ability. As a guy who played this position for all these years, you've been amazed. What are you seeing with Denzel Clark and all these great catches?
Yeah, I just love the fearlessness. I really do. And you don't see that as much in today's game. We watched it in Sacramento, being willing to sacrifice his body full speed into the wall is something that you have to admire and you have to respect. And I think that's first and foremost for me. I mean, the acrobatic, put the cleat in the wall, get on top of the fence, make a catch where you almost fall over it, come back down, land on 2 feet. That athleticism is unreal, right? The MLB did a great comp to the Gary Matthews Jr. catch. It was pretty equally as special, but what they didn't show was, like, in that same game, there was a sinking line drive, I think, to right center that he ended up catching. That, the two balls, if you judge the distance between the two from going forward to going back, he covers a remarkable amount of the field. And there's only a few that I can think of. Like you said, Andrew Jones was elite when I played. He was the guy I admired as a center fielder, and he played the shallowest center field I think I've ever seen. And then you look at Devon White, who, when I was a rookie in '97, my first call-up was to come and play center field. And the guy I was playing for, went on at the time, the disabled list, but now IL, was Devon White. And he looked like a track star. He had long strides, and he could go get it as well.
I felt like in Anaheim at some point he may hop the wall and run up the rocks and catch the ball. Will anything shock you about him, or will any catch shock you from this point out?
I don't think he can. I mean, he's won the Electric Player of the Week, and he should be the first time 3-time repeat, recipient. But I don't know what else he could do. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there is something else, but it's been a joy to watch. It's something that I saw in the Fall League 2 years ago when I went out and watched him in the winter and said that he could play center field at that point in the big leagues. And he's showing that right now.
And we've shown in a quick time him start to make adjustments with his offense. It looks like he's shortened things up. I mean, obviously when you're 6'4", you got long limbs and you got long arms. Just talk about what you guys are working on with him. And at times it feels like, man, just put the ball in play and run and you got a shot.
Yeah, no, that's real, Towny. I mean, we definitely are working at trying to reduce the strikeout rate and putting the ball in play. When he does put the ball in play, I think, he's got a pretty decent batting average. So, it's tough. He was, brought here for the defensive side of it. He's, excelled and been beyond expectations there. And the offensive side, we knew, would be challenging at times. And so the work in the cage, the work with Darren, is, like you said, to stay short to the baseball, use the ground. And I mean, he does have electric, thump, but the biggest part for us is like you said, to get him to make contact. The outside part of the plate has been a little bit of a challenge for him in covering it and seeing it. And so we're working on to address that right now.
Yeah, just let everybody know. And I try and tell people all the time, especially when we're taking phone calls after the game, just how hard your staff is working. I mean, the losses eat at the staff too. You think of just the players, but your staff takes it home. They wear it. Just talk about how hard your staff is working to try and help the players get out of this.
Yeah, I mean, there was an off day yesterday. That's not an off day for the staff. We continue to grind. We continue to look at ways to improve and help these players. That's the biggest focus right now. I mean, we understand the wins and losses. We understand where we're at this point in the season. Our focus is still to go out and win every day. And at the same point, it's players like Denzel Clark that we see a bright future in, that we need to continue to work with, continue to get better. It's the Max Muncies and as well as, obviously the guys that are here that have formed this group that have had success in the past, last season, the last 2 months. It's, the Lawrence Butler, the Tyler Soderstrom, and Rook, those guys. So there's not an hour spent that we don't think about, where we're at and how we get better and move forward in the future.
Great stuff, Kots. Go get them this weekend. We'll see you back in Sacramento. The Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.